Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. My name is Betty and in this video I am going to talk about the books I read in June. It's going to be a longer video because I read quite a few books this month. So make a cup of tea or coffee and enjoy the video. The first book I read in June was Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, and this book is about Cora. She went to the bar for a drink after her sister's birthday party. When she wants to go home, she finds out that she has lost her wallet, so she calls Dean, and Dean is her sister's fiance, and he picks her up. When they are in the car, they are being followed. At first they think it is the police, but it's not. It is this old, ugly man, and it is also the man who abducts them. He puts them in a basement and they have no idea where they are. And this man does terrible things to them. And this whole abduction changes the relationship between Cora and Dean, and that bond becomes very strong. So usually I read normal romance novels, and this was the first time that I read a dark romance, and it was definitely dark. It was very, very dark. The book is divided into 3 parts. The first part is about the abduction and the terrible things that are happening in the basement, and the second and third part are about the relationship between Cora and Dean and their bond and how it develops. If you want to read this book, you should read the trigger warnings first, because this book is definitely not for everyone. It was like very heavy and very dark. But I have to admit, this book was very well written and it was so easy to read, which was kind of weird because it's like about heavy stuff, but it was, I don't want to say I enjoyed it because it was like about very dark things, but it was a good book. The next book I read was Problematic Summer Romance by Ailey Hazelwood, and this book is about Maya and Connor. So Maya is only 22 and Connor is 15 years older than her. Maya has this major crush on him, and Connor doesn't want anything from her because he thinks that she is too young for him. And now Maya's brother, which is also Connor's best friend, is going to get married in Italy, and now they are both stuck in a beautiful villa, and this romantic setting brings them closer. So this book was very, very, very cute. That's exactly what I needed after reading the last book, which was a dark romance. This was so cute. I think this is the perfect book for this summer if you're looking for a cute summer romance. It was fun and I really enjoyed it, and that's basically all I can say. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read in June was Summer in the City by Alex Esther, and this book is about Elle. Elle is a screenwriter and right now she has a deadline. She has to write a new screenplay for this new upcoming movie, but she also has a writer's block, so that's why she is going to New York, staying at her sister's apartment, and hopefully find some inspiration. And she does find some new inspiration, but not in the way she expected it. The person who inspires her is actually Parker Warren, and they had one steamy moment 2 years ago until he said something very stupid to her. That was the moment when she decided that he was her enemy. So honestly, I thought it was a bit strange, maybe even crazy, that Elle was still obsessing over this guy she met 2 years ago and said something stupid to her, like, just move on with your life, you know? But she was still thinking about him every single day after 2 years. That was a bit crazy. But honestly, I liked the first part of this book. It was very cute. There were like a lot of cute moments. Parker is pretty likable, but honestly, the ending was a little bit boring. Like, the last part was just not interesting enough, in my opinion. The next book I read was Binding 13 by Chloe Walls, and this is the first book in the Boys of Tommen book series. And this book is about Shannon and Johnny. So Shannon was bullied at her last school. It was a very unsafe situation for her, so she had to switch schools. But school wasn't the only unsafe place for her. Her own home, her own house, her family is also a very unsafe place for her, because her father gets drunk pretty often and he also hits her. The only one who is helping her is basically her brother, not even her mother. And then there's Johnny, and he is the star of the rugby team at her new school, and he accidentally hits Shannon with a ball on their first day, and he really feels bad about it, and he wants to protect her, especially when he finds out what happened at her last school. So he's very protective of her, and but he, at the same time, he's also dealing with stuff like he has a major injury and he's basically ignoring it, which makes it a lot worse. This book was a roller coaster of emotions, like especially the last part was super intense. I was crying, and it was terrible what happened to Shannon. It was just awful. This book also ended with a cliffhanger, which means I have to read the next book, Keeping Virgin, very soon, because I want to know what is going to happen next. But this book definitely deserves the 5-star rating, because this book has over 600 pages and it never got boring, so it definitely deserves 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read in June was Battle of the Bookstores by Ellie Brady, and this book is about 2 bookstore owners. So you have Josie, who sells literature and fiction, and then you have Ryan, who sells romance, and they don't like each other at all. They are enemies. But then Xander, the bookstore owner, decided he wants to combine these 2 bookstores, and only one of them can become the new manager. The fun part of this book is that Josie and Ryan are actually friends on the book forum, but they never use like their real names on that forum, so they have no idea that they are chatting with each other. So online they are sort of best friends, but in real life they are enemies. So honestly, this was just an okay book for me. It wasn't terrible, it was just okay. I liked some parts of this book. I liked Ryan. I mean, he has a romance bookstore. I want to have a romance bookstore. He reads romance. He has 2 cats. He's basically the perfect guy, in my opinion. But towards the ending, I was just less interested in this book, in the story. It got a little bit boring, in my opinion. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Another book I read this month was The Risk by St. Abbey, and this book is the first book in the Mindfuck series. It's a very short book. It only has like 100 pages, I believe. And this is about a woman, and she went through something terrible when she was a kid, and now she is taking revenge. You don't know exactly what happens. I think I have an idea of what happened, but I'm not really sure yet. I think I have to read the rest of the series before I actually find out what really happened. But now she's taking revenge, and by killing them, the people who hurt her when she was a kid, and then she finds a guy, and she really likes him, and he works for the FBI, so that makes it everything a lot more complicated. Next book I read in June was Till Summer Do Its Part by Megan Quinn, and this book is about Scotty. And Scotty Price recently got divorced, moved to New York, and got a new job. But everyone at her new job is married, and they always talk about their relationship. And one day Scotty makes up this lie that she's actually married, but the reason why she is not wearing a ring is because their relationship isn't perfect. So her boss husband is a therapist, and he wants to help them, and that's why Scotty has to find a fake husband. He does really fast, and they go to this marriage camp together to work on their relationship, their marriage. It's all fake, obviously, but this whole camp also brings them closer. I honestly think that this book is the perfect romance book to read this summer. I mean, the cover looks beautiful. I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but look at this. It's perfect. It's probably one of the best romance books I have read this year. It was really good. It was funny. Some parts were like super weird, like their cabin was filled with dildo sex toys, which was kind of strange but also hilarious. Yeah, I really liked it, and I can definitely recommend it. And the last book I read was Silver Elite by Dani Francis, and this book is about Ren Darlington. And Ren has spent her whole life in hiding. She is modified and she's one of the most powerful ones, but it's very dangerous to be a mod because a lot of people see them as the enemy, that they are dangerous, including the leaders of this continent. If they find out that you are a mod or that you are being modified, then they most likely will execute you. So Ren can tell nobody about her abilities. Only a few people know, and she really trusts them. But now they forced her to join this training program, and this makes it more complicated because it gets harder to hide her abilities, but at the same time it also gives her the opportunity to find valuable information and give them to the uprising. So this was another book I read for the book club I am in, and it really shows that I should never judge a book by its cover, because usually I would skip books with very dark covers. I personally prefer reading books with a happy, colorful book cover, but I ended up loving this book. It kind of reminded me of the Divergent series, so if you like that series, I would definitely recommend reading this one. Some of the things were a little bit predictable, but on the other hand, some of the plot twists were very unexpected, and I loved that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. So these were the books I read in June. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what books you read in June, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.